Hi, this is Jay. Welcome to Bright Ideas.
Here are the K-12 approaches. Number one is learner-centered. In a learner-centered instruction, choice of teaching, method, and technique has the learner as a primary consideration. His or her nature, innate faculties or abilities, how he or she learns, his or her developmental stage, multiple intelligences, learning styles, needs, concerns, interests, feelings, home, and educational background. Number two is inclusive. This means that no student is excluded from the circle of learners. Everyone is in. Teaching is for all students regardless of origin, socioeconomic background, gender, ability, or nationality. No teacher favorites, no outcast, no promdi. The word promdi is from the English words from the, used in Filipino to refer to someone from the province who has just come to an urban center like Manila, sometimes offensive and derogatory. In an inclusive classroom, everyone feels he or she belongs. Number three is developmentally appropriate. The tasks required of students are within their developmental stages. You will not expect formal operations thinking of kindergarten children who are, according to Piaget's cognitive theory, only in their pre-operational developmental stage. If you study the competencies of the K-12 curriculum per subject, you will find out that the competencies in grade 1 are obviously more simple compared to the competencies of grade 7. The treatment of subject matter increases in sophistication, however, as you go up the grades. In math, for instance, grade 1 math, a pupil is engaged in visualizing and representing numbers from 0 to 100, to 1,000 in grade 2, to 10,000 in grade 3, to 100,000 in grade 4, to 10 million in grade 5. Number 4 is responsive and relevant. Using a relevant and responsive teaching approach means making your teaching meaningful. You can make your teaching meaningful if you relate or connect your lessons to the students' daily experiences. You make your teaching relevant when what you teach answers their questions and their concerns. There is no place for meaningless, mile-wide, inch-deep teaching. No teaching to the test. This does not mean, however, no more test. It is teaching only for the test that is meaningless, that is referred to here, and therefore, you have to avoid it by all means. Number 5 is research-based. Your teaching approach is more interesting, updated, more convincing, and persuasive if it is informed by research, integrating information from your research or from researches of others that enrich your teaching. You apply methods of teaching which have been proven to be effective. If your approach is not research-based, you may end up teaching a subject using the same method and the same examples again and again. Number 6 is culture sensitive. If your approach is culture sensitive, you are mindful of the diversity of cultures in your classroom. You employ a teaching approach that is anchored in respect for cultural diversity. You view all learners as unique individuals and realize and accept that their varied cultural experiences, beliefs, values, and language affect their ways of thinking and interacting with others and the larger community. You are able to look at their work, the responses from various perspectives, not only from yours. If you are culture sensitive, you will not judge one culture as superior to that of another, for indeed no culture is perfect and that every culture has its own strengths and weaknesses. For instance, you don't think that your culture is better than any student's culture. As a result, you become less judgmental, more understanding, and empathetic with your students. Number 7 is contextualized and global. You make teaching more meaningful by putting your lesson in a context. This context may be local, national, and global. Considering development stages of learners, the context to which the lessons in grade 1 are connected may be local, becoming national in grade 4, and global in grade 6 and beyond. For instance, in AP you discuss family in grade 1, local community in grade 2, province in grade 3, expanding to country in grade 4, up to the international community in high school. Contextualized teaching means exerting effort to extend learning beyond the classroom into relevant context in the real world. It also entails effort to bring outside the classroom realities of academic context into the classroom. Number 8 is constructivist. Constructive comes from the word construct. If you are constructivist in teaching approach, you believe that students learn by building upon their prior knowledge or knowledge the students already know prior to your teaching. This prior knowledge is called a schema. All students who come to class have prior knowledge or schema. This is contrary to the tabula rasa of John Locke that claims the students' minds are a blank slate. Students learn when you help them connect lessons to their prior knowledge. Students make sense of what they are taught according to their current conceptions. Much of what they learn are those that are connected to their prior knowledge. These processes are what Piaget termed assimilation and accommodation. In constructivist teaching, it is the students who construct knowledge and meaning for themselves with teachers' scaffolding, not teachers constructing knowledge and meaning for the students. Number 9 is inquiry-based and reflective. For inquiry-based and reflective teaching approach, the core of the learning process is to elicit student-generated questions. A test your effectiveness in the use of the inquiry-based approach is when the students begin formulating questions, risking answers, probing for relationships, making their own discoveries, reflecting on their findings, acting as researchers and writers of research reports. Number 10 is collaborative. As the word collaborative suggests, this teaching approach involves groups of students or teachers and students working together to learn together by solving a problem, completing a task, or creating a product. It may be a collaboration of two to make a dyad or a triad or a tetrad or a group. This may also include teacher teaching in collaboration with other teachers, like team teaching. Number 11 is integrative. This approach can be intradisciplinary, interdisciplinary, or transdisciplinary. The integrative approach is intradisciplinary when the integration is within one discipline. Integrative teaching can be integrating skills within the subject, like the macro skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing in the language subjects, like the mother tongue, Filipino, and English. Interdisciplinary integration happens when the traditionally separate subjects are brought together so that students can grasp a more authentic understanding of a subject under study. Students demonstrate interdisciplinary understanding when they can bring together concepts and methods from two or more disciplines or established areas of expertise in order to explain phenomenon, solve a problem, create a product, or raise a new question. An example is when you discuss responsible parenthood from the point of view of sociology, psychology, anthropology, economics, and health. Another example is when mathematical skills like the organizing, computing means, interpreting data are also taught in Awaling Palipunan, Edukasyon sa Papakatao, and Science. Art can be taught with math. Values education is expected to be integrated in all subjects. That is why every teacher is said to be a values education teacher. Transdisciplinary integration is integrating your lessons with real life. You do this when you cite real-life applications of your lessons. You also do this when you indigenize or localize your lessons. Number 12 is spiral progression approach. To follow a spiral progression approach, you develop the same concepts from one grade level to the next in increasing complexity. It is revisiting concepts at each grade level with increasing depth. Spiral progression approach is also interdisciplinary. This enables students to explore connections among the sciences and the branches of math. For example, Grade 1 organize, represent, and compare data using pictographs without scale representations and probability and explores games and activities. Grade 2 compares data using pictographs with scale representations and the ideas of likelihood. Grade 3 organize and interpret data presented in tables and bar graphs. And Grade 6 construct, read, and interpret a line graph and its corresponding table of data and solve problems involving data from a table and a line graph. Make a simple predictions of events based on a probability experiment. And last one is MTB-MLE based. It means mother tongue based multilingual education. In MTB-MLE, teaching is done in more than one language beginning with the mother tongue. The mother tongue is used as a medium of instruction from K to 3, in addition to it being taught as a subject from grades 1 to 3. The use of mother tongue as medium of instruction eliminates the problem on language barrier in the early grades. When the use of the mother tongue as language of instruction, it has been observed that classes have become more interactive. Children are now asking questions, reciting, and actively participating in class activities. Imagine a grade 1 pupil learning something in a language foreign to his or her first language. The content is difficult and the difficulty gets compounded when the difficult content is taught in a language that the learner does not understand.